With the first pick in the 2018 NBA Draft, the Phoenix Suns select DeAndre Ayton.
So today I'm going to be going over the top 10 most interesting and most controversial moments of last night's draft, and just going over the draft and just reacting to different moments and things like that. Some of the things we're going to be going over is, you know, the Trae Young, Luka Doncic comparisons. We're going to go over where MPJ got drafted, and also what happened to GELO ball. Stay tuned.
Hold up, what's my name? More money, more cash, more money.
The first moment has to be, because you guys already knew DeAndre Ayton was going to go #1, or at least everybody pretty much expected that. The Marvin Bagley kind of caught me for a surprise because the Sacramento Kings have not only Labissiere, but they also have Willie Cauley-Stein, but they drafted another big man who they could add to the cornerstone of their future. And then everything else after that was pretty much just thrown up in the air. Players were getting drafted to teams that were going to draft them, but then got flipped back, and then they had to go back, and then they had to put different hats on. It was just all around confusing. Honestly, this was one of the strangest drafts I've ever seen or experienced in all my years watching the NBA draft. The first moment, obviously, has to be the Trae Young and Luka Doncic. The fact that Atlanta traded to the Dallas Mavericks for Mavericks to get a third pick to get Trae Young, and then Luka Doncic got to get Luka Doncic, and then the Hawks got Trae Young. But all that had to happen instead of the Dallas Mavericks giving the Hawks a future first-round pick. They just could have let the Hawks go ahead and draft Trae Young, which maybe they didn't know if they were gonna get him or not. And then obviously Memphis was clear on getting the big man. They would have got Jarren Jackson, and then the Hawks would have just got Trae Young at 5. They wouldn't have to do, or the Mavericks would have just got Trae Young at 5. Wouldn't have to do all that trading. But the comparison between Trae Young and Luka Doncic is always going to be something that people talk about, that people want to compare as far as those two players, because they're the two really top guards in the top 10. The first two guards to really get picked up, and they seem to be the most game-changing guards in this draft, at least from what everybody else is saying. So first controversial pick is, who's going to be better? Is it going to be Trae Young? Is it going to be Luka Doncic? The Dallas Mavericks and Atlanta Hawks made that right trade. And personally, I don't know yet. I can't answer that. I think they're both going to be pretty good players. I don't think any of them are going to be, they're just too skilled to be bad players. So I think they're going to be good players in the NBA. Don't know how great they are going to be, but I'm excited to see that. As far as Luka Doncic, he was like one of 5 players internationally drafted in the top 3. There's Yao Ming, there's Dirk, there's guys that pretty much just didn't pan out. There's the big man that got drafted, Darko Milicic with LeBron James. So that's going to be something we kind of see, and just we get to find out how it goes and how it all unravels. Now, the pick number 2, as you guys are seeing, Jarren Jackson getting taken to the Memphis Grizzlies. Now, I didn't, in my mock draft, if you guys haven't checked that out, make sure you do. In my mock draft, I had him outside of the top 10. I thought he was obviously athletic, very good big man, but he wasn't as skilled. He didn't seem to have as many tools that most big men in the league have today. So I thought Jarren Jackson, in my opinion, got drafted way too high. They could have had Mamba. They could have had plenty of other guys that could have came in right away and contributed and made a big splash for the Memphis Grizzlies. Even MPJ, but he had back issues. So that was my concern. That was my number 2 moment. I think he was just drafted too high, but I'm excited to see how that all turns out. Now, number 3, Michael Porter Jr. What happened? How did he slip to 14 to the Denver Nuggets, who y'all better watch out for, man, because Denver Nuggets are coming. They're a very, very underrated team. They were 1 game away from being a playoff team, and they have 2 very underrated guards, point guard and shooting guard. Probably some of the best point guard, shooting guard, young combo we have in the league. One of the best young combos. And they just drafted MPJ. They got Paul Millsap, and they got one of the best young centers in the league too. So watch out for Denver Nuggets. I think they really lucked out in this draft. And even if he had to sit out for a year, he's still a great fit. He can still add his tools. They compared this guy to Kevin Durant, and he has a real knockdown jumper, so that one definitely surprised me. Now, the Spurs. The Spurs got Lonnie Walker from Miami. That was a steal. I don't know how teams like the Wizards, teams that needed shooting guards or small forwards, how they pass up on this guy. He's athletic. He's a smart player. He's from, you know, where I'm from, which, not the DMV, but he's an East Coast, like, you know, suburbs kind of guy. He's from Reading, Pennsylvania, and he got game. He balls like guys from the DMV ball. Got not only a jumper, he can handle the ball pretty well. He's athletic. He can make plays. He has high basketball IQ. Shout out DMV ballers, because I know that's what we're about right there. But Lonnie Walker, Spurs got another steal, and if Kawhi leaves, him and DeJounte Murray as a backcourt could be very scary for two talented players to be, you know, run by Popovich. So watch out for that. Spurs definitely got to steal Lonnie Walker. Then Grayson Allen. This one kind of threw me off a little bit. For me personally, just talking outside my friends and things like that, I thought he was definitely going to be undrafted. Not undrafted, but I thought he was going to be a second-round pick because of the issues he had in college, tripping people and just tripping in general on the side of the bench and just tripping, missing certain shots. I mean, I thought he was going to be a second-round pick, but he got picked to the perfect team. Grayson Allen going to Utah Jazz. We come off the bench, not much pressure. They got Donovan Mitchell there. He could end up even starting maybe Donovan Mitchell at the 1, Grayson Allen at the 2, depending on how well he really is and ends up being. So that, I think, was a surprise pick, but I think a very low-key, great pick for Utah Jazz, getting Grayson Allen. And then the Celtics. No. And then the Wizards. This is another interesting moment. The Wizards, struggling with Marcin Gortat, having all these great, well, they have 2 great guards. They get a small forward when they have Otto Porter. They got Kelly Oubre. They got another small forward. They draft another small forward who does just about everything Otto Porter does. I mean, he could barely, I'm not going to say he could barely dunk because he dunked on Marvin Bagley. But doesn't seem very uber athletic. He doesn't seem he could do, you know, many cool things with his body, like athletic, like floating in the air. So that surprised me that they got another player similar to Otto Porter. And they passed up on Williams, the center. They passed up on Williams, the center, and the Celtics ended up getting him at like 27. And he was like a top 10 pick. So the Celtics passed up on him, and you see what happens. I mean, the Wizards passed up on him, a bunch of other teams passed up on him, and the Celtics got a steal in Williams, the center out of Texas A&M. I think he's going to be a very good player, and guys, people are going to look back, and they're going to be like, man, he should have really been drafted higher. That goes to the Knicks, man. This is another interesting moment, strange to me. They got Knox from Kentucky. He got booed. But I look at it this way. I don't think that's who they should have got. I think they could have got either Lonnie Walker. They wanted a shooting guard or small forward. They could have even got, you know, Williams and another center. But they needed a small forward. They passed up on MPJ. Now, this is a team that's passed up on Stephen Curry before, Klay Thompson before. A lot of other players in the league, Victor Oladipo, not Victor Oladipo, but a lot of other players that really ended up turning out to be really, really good. They passed up on Kuzma. They passed up on a lot of great players. Dennis Smith Jr. from last year. So the Knicks passing up on MPJ and getting somebody else blew my mind. I think that was a mistake, but we'll find out in the future. I'm excited to see how this Kevin Knox guy plays. One thing about his game, I love his shooting. I think he's a great knockdown shooter. He's 6'9", he's got length. So he might end up being a really good prospect. We just got to see and find out. And like I said, the Wizards. Now my other interesting moment was the Celtics getting the steal in Williams. And then now after this, the Knicks, number 8 or 7, no 8, number 8 has to be the Wizards, just flat out not drafting a good pick. I think they just skipped the best player that they needed. And I think all that is going to come back to haunt the Wizards, man. They really should have got Williams. They needed his center. Gortat didn't play well. He didn't get along with John Wall. And this was a young athletic center ready to play with a point guard and a shooting guard. I think they passed him on a great player. And then Sexton. Will Collin Sexton keep LeBron James in Cleveland? My answer to you is no. I don't think he's going to keep LeBron in Cleveland. I think he's a great pickup, though. I think he's a great player, athletic. He's good, a Russell Westbrook type of player. I think he's going to end up being a really good point guard, but not to keep LeBron around. I think LeBron, in my opinion, I think he's going to go to L.A., but who knows, man? Who knows where this man's going to go? We all just got to sit down, sit on our thumbs, and find out. And then, number 10, I think everybody wanted to know this, and I wanted to know this, but it's not necessarily a bad thing. what happened to GELO Ball? I thought he would get drafted in the second round by the Lakers or some team would pick him up. But also I had in the back of my mind, I was thinking, yo, he's not going to get picked up by an NBA team in the draft. Even with all the hype around his name, his skill set, his agility, his athleticism, the fact that he plays like a power forward, but he's a shooting guard. All those things are going to be reasons why he doesn't get drafted. And it proved me right. He didn't get drafted. But I do think he's going to get signed by a team to play in the summer league, and then they're going to see, okay, what can this kid do? Is it going to be the Lakers? Is it going to be Lakers? I don't know. But I still do think GELO Ball will end up getting signed for the summer league and maybe find his way on the team. Maybe. So that wraps up my top 10 most controversial, interesting picks of last night's NBA draft. Hope you guys did enjoy this. Just running through the draft real quick, the first round of the draft, and just sharing my bits and pieces and reacting to some of the drafts. And yeah, that wraps up this episode. Also, thank you for dropping the idea below in my previous video. I forgot your name, bro, but you definitely gave me the idea to do this video, and here it is. So I hope you did enjoy this one as well. I will give you a shout out if I remember. But thanks again. Thank you guys for tuning in. More videos on the way soon. I got an interview with artist Ramon Hurtado coming soon, so stay tuned for that. And of course, more videos coming along the way. I'm signing out. Peace.
Please don't kill my vibe. Please don't kill my light. Please don't kill my vibe. Please don't kill my light. Please don't kill my vibe. Please don't kill my light. Please don't kill my vibe. Please don't kill my light. Please don't kill